Now we're going to take a little tour of the select input dialog. I'm going to go down here and click add input and walk you through all the different kinds of inputs. So right off the bat, we've got our video, and this is mainly for selecting anything in your system, AVIs, WMVs, MOVs, almost any kind of video file. vMix can play just about everything. So I'm going to select this video clip, and you can see when it populates here as another input. If I select it, it shows up in preview. And if I bring it onto my program, it starts playing as soon as it starts rolling out. And we've got this handy little progress bar down here, which lets us know how far along we are in the video. And once we get close to the end, it turns red and says, hey, time to get this off. This video is kind of looping, so we can select loop here and hit play, and it will just go over and over without a lot of noticeable change to it. So it's a great background video. After the video input is DVD. If you have any kind of DVD content, you can use this input to navigate that kind of material. List is great for playing a list of videos or audio files. So if you want to put a collection and have it play for 20 hours, this is a great input for you. Camera, this is one of the very important inputs. Everything in this dropdown is all of the camera hardware that vMix can see attached to the system. We did load up our webcam. We can also load up, we have a PTZ camera hooked up here, and it's going to ask me which input I want to use. So I'm going to use my SDI. I'm coming in 1920 by 1080, coming in 29.97, and I want the audio enabled on this. So that's how we configure this particular input. And when we do that, we have our camera shows up here. So this is the main camera that I use when I do presentations. All devices come in through this this dialog. NDI and desktop capture is an extremely important one. Any system that's putting out NDI on your network video can show up here, and as well as vMix's desktop capture application. So this is that one that I mentioned during installation. When we run vMix desktop capture for NDI, it will look on the system and it will make every input that's available show up here as an input. So we can use this to capture PowerPoint. We can use it to capture games. Any kind of software that you want to do a tutorial on doesn't have to be on the system that vMix is running on. It can be on any system that's attached to the network. And that's sending it over via NDI. But NDI is used for more than just desktop capture. It can be any graphics application. It can be other switchers. NDI has an unlimited number of uses, and all of those sources that are available on your network show up here and can be brought in as inputs within vMix. Stream, this is sort of like the legacy version of NDI. RTSP is a way of bringing in cameras. A lot of cameras or encoders will encode to RTSP. The latency on those was generally higher, but it's a great old school networking format. Instant replay. If you're doing sports, this is kind of important. You can set up which cameras you're going to use. vMix Pro has 4 channels. vMix 4K has 1. The lower versions don't have vMix replay. You can set where it's going and how you want to transition in and out of it. Image sequence, you can use these for creating animated transitions. Image, this is for just loading pictures. We used that to load up this image back there. And the difference between image and photos is used for loading up a directory full of pictures, so you can use it like a slideshow. So when I bring this up and I step through these, this is what lets your pictures show up into different inputs. After photos is PowerPoint. So if you can use the photos input sort of like PowerPoint, but if you're doing a lot of PowerPoint presentation and you have vMix loaded on the same system as PowerPoint, you can load up an XLS or XLSX file and vMix will actually import that PowerPoint and let you step through it. Color, if you want to load up any solid color or you want to load up color bars, that's where this is done. Audio, any sort of MP3 or WAV file, you can load these up here and I use this file as background music. Audio input, any audio device, microphone, those all show up here, whether they're virtual or real physical. I could bring in the audio from just my webcam. Say I'm not using my webcam, but I just want to bring in the audio from it. I could do that. Audio from your capture cards, stereo mix, which is the output of your audio. There's a lot of different options there. Titles. This is going to be the subject of its own tutorial, but this is where you can select. vMix comes with a whole bunch of different title templates, animated, scoreboard, timers for doing countdowns, tickers for connecting to XML or just playing something along the bottom, regular text, multi-view, social for connecting to vMix Social to show information from your Facebook or Twitter feeds. Flash and RTMP, if you want to connect to an RTMP signal, you can have that connected from here. Virtual sets, one of my favorites. Virtual sets in vMix are great because they have reflections and camera movement. I'll be doing a tutorial on just those so we can get a little bit more in-depth explanation of how they work and how to configure them, but it's just a way of chroma keying yourself into an environment to make your office look a little nicer than it probably actually is. Web browser. Web browser is a great way of just bringing in any kind of web content without having to create a separate screen with a desktop capture on it. You can just use this to navigate that website live in real time. So you can, click their blog and you can bring up whatever it is. If you have a presenter who's throwing out information that you're not familiar with, you can on the fly pull up their website. Usually people have a lot of information on their website. You can navigate that and catch up with them and bring that up over their shoulder or bring it up full screen. vMix Call. vMix Call is a great way of bringing in people from remotely from other parts of the world, whether it's on the other side of the building or the other side of the country. vMix Call is an easy way to give somebody a 10-digit number and just have them dial in and show up as an input in vMix. And we'll do a tutorial on that as well. That in a nutshell is all of the inputs in vMix, and we can use them to combine together to make really compelling productions. And we also have a lot of further digging to do into how some of these inputs work in greater detail in further chapters.